Today we're checking out 5 SoundToys plugins you need to try. So first off, all the SoundToys plugins are insanely good. So if you've got the extra cash lying around to get the entire bundle, it's money well spent. But for this video, we'll just be taking a look at the 5 I use most often in my mixes. By the way, be sure to stick around to the end. I've got a cool little bonus for you. So starting off with plugin number 1, Loc Deluxe. This thing is an absolute beast. It's based on the Shure level lock compressor, and it's dirty, it's aggressive, it's crunchy, and oh boy is it fun on drums. One of my favorite uses for it is on drum bus. I think I stole this from Ken Andrews, who mixed the self-titled Paramore record. By the way, how awesome does that record sound? But I'll set the crush, crunch, and darkness knobs all to 0, which you would think would mean it wouldn't be doing anything, but it's still doing a lot. And then mix it in at like 30 or 40%. If I'm looking for something a little extra aggressive, I might push the crush and crunch up to like 1. A little goes a long way with this thing. Let's hear an example of Loc in action. Just listen to how much energy it adds to the drums. By the way, the drums you heard there were from my drum sample packs. You can check them out, including an absolutely free pack over at bettermixes.com/drum samples. Or I'll put a link to them in the description down below. But anyway, Loc Deluxe is also insanely cool on percussion like tambourine and shaker. It really levels everything out in a nice way, allowing the percussion to really sit into the track. Now for our next plugin, we've got Echo Boy. You knew Echo Boy had to be on here. I made an entire video a while back about all the crazy stuff you can do with Echo Boy besides delay, so I won't go too deep into it here. I'll link to that video up here if you want to check it out. But even just as a delay, it's probably the most versatile delay out there. It's got over 30 different delay styles to give you pretty much any sound you could ever want, plus all the controls you could ever need to tweak those sounds. Let's check out a clip of Echo Boy on guitars, and I'll flip through a few of the styles so you can get an idea of all the sounds inside this thing. Again, from dark and washy to bright and cutting, Echo Boy really does cover pretty much everything. And sticking with the time-based effects, next up is Little Plate. I'm such a huge fan of plate reverbs in general. The studio I used to work out of had an actual EMT 140 plate, and I just fell in love with that thing. Little Plate nails the vibe of a real plate reverb and is so fast and easy to use. Where Echo Boy can be tweaked for days, Little Plate has like 3 knobs and a switch. So it's really just a grab it and go kind of thing, which is perfect for when you just want to add some space and vibe without a ton of tweaking. Let's take a listen to it on those same guitar lines as before. I love that SoundToys took Little Plate farther than what's possible with an actual plate though, by having the decay time extend all the way to infinity. Those long times can be really cool for sound designy kind of stuff. By the way, if you're digging this video, my whole channel is dedicated to helping people make insanely awesome mixes. So be sure to subscribe so I can help you too. Anyway, next up on our list, we have Filter Freak. So this is a weird one, and I've probably only ever scratched the surface of what Filter Freak is capable of, but my absolute favorite use for it is for doing filter sweeps for transitions and builds. It's super tweakable, so you can get just the right amount of sweep, resonance, level, and dirt without having to automate like 20 controls like you would have to if you were using other plugins. Let's take a listen to the transition out of the bridge of this song into the last chorus. First without Filter Freak, and then with it on. You can see just how much interest Filter Freak adds there. It can also be great for adding just a little bit of subtle movement to synth pads or spacey guitars that are feeling a little bit too static. And of course, no SoundToys list would be complete without mentioning Decapitator. It really is way more than just a saturation plugin. It's a whole tone shaping box, allowing you to completely transform the character of whatever you put it on. And with 5 different flavors of saturation, there's something that'll work for just about any track. In this example, I'll dial in a setting to help these octave guitars cut through the rest of the mix. of my favorite uses for Decapitator is when you've got a couple overlapping vocal parts. Adding Decapitator and making one brighter and more driven and the other a little warmer can really give each one its own space and keep them from fighting too much. And I promised a cool bonus at the end of this video for sticking around. So in the description down below, I've got a link to download my SoundToys presets. Some that I used in this video, plus a bunch more. Obviously, they're just starting places, but hopefully they'll help you find some really cool new sounds. To get them working, if you're on a Mac at least, just go to User, Shared, SoundToys, SoundToys 5, and then drop them into the corresponding plugin folder. Then they should be waiting in your preset folder next time you open them up. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, if you want to learn more about all the cool stuff you can do with Echo Boy, check out this video. Or if you want to check out some of my other favorite plugins, you might like this playlist. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.